news broadcast. We got From Carter's Tavern by ABC 13, and we'll play that for you.
You believe in ghosts? Well, one local organization in Danville does. They are investigators of the paranormal.
They claim they have seen, heard, even spoken with them. Our Sarah Bloom tagged along with these ghost hunters as they investigated some of the area's oldest homes. Now, Sarah, some of the homes you went into have reports of hauntings, even murders.
Len, our adventures started at Carter's Tavern. Now, that's a Halifax County home built in the late 1700s. Stories say George Washington stopped there for refreshments. Allegedly, there were 2 murders on the grounds, and there's a graveyard out back. So plenty of reason, if spirits do exist, to find them. Inside Carter's Tavern, period pieces fill what is now a home. Visitors get an easy image of how life may have looked back then, and what types of souls may exist here.
Several people around in this area think that this house is haunted. We've never had any experiences here, but we've had 2 sets of paranormal people here, and they've had experiences. I've never had one, so I'm a skeptic.
But VIPS, or Virginia Investigation of Paranormal Science, thinks this skeptic may be surprised by what they find here. So they bring in the ghost detecting machines, recording devices, alarms, and special electromagnetic field readers.
The spirit walks by, the light will turn on. And that's how we sense spirits in that sense.
And we were off, ghost hunting, if you will.
What's your name? Did you get shot up here? Who shot you? Was his name Jack?
No audible answers yet, but we know someone was shot and killed here, part of a lover's quarrel. A young newlywed supposedly accepted a dance in the ballroom with a man who wasn't her husband. Some say these bloodstains on the floor are evidence of what happened when her husband found them.
Apparently he followed him down, and a scuffle happened, and shot rang out, and the young man died.
Later, alarms go off. We're not sure why. And then, suspicious lights.
I'm telling you, there was something moving around the stairs.
Downstairs, investigators say they're talking to a slave child.
Seems to be a little bit of a prankster. He wants to communicate when it feels to. There's certain things that trigger it. We found different game playing, kind of silly things that, get its attention.
They think I got the child's attention too, or maybe someone else's. I'm told there are a lot of orbs around me. They indicate spiritual energy, and they asked me to take a role asking questions on this K2. Basically, a yes-no meter.
I'm Sarah, and I'm not going to hurt you. Are you here? Will you talk to us? Are you married? Do you want us to leave?
Finally, a trip outside to the graveyard to visit souls that spent time here long ago. Here, investigators decided on still pictures. They hope what they capture will do the talking for whatever or whoever might be out here. And at the end of the night, our team was still a little skeptical. We were in an old home, and we did see some strange things, but what was really interesting was when we got to go over the findings. That came at a later date, so we'll share some of those with you tomorrow at 6. Len, Noreen.
Yeah, I'd like to see those.
It must be fun to kind of,
be a ghost hunter.
wonder what's out there.
Yeah.
If you had a chance to there really is so much speculation out there about the afterlife and the things that go bump in the night. But do you believe in ghosts or spirits?
I kind of do sometimes. I like to. And yesterday, you might remember, we investigated hauntings at Carter's Tavern, which is a historic home and we went along with a team of paranormal investigators. Sarah Bloom joins us now from Danville. And Sarah, I know you were there when the investigation was underway, and now you have a look at some of those findings.
Right, Noreen, and obviously communicating with a spirit or identifying one is not an exact science. Those who do this regularly say they can hear, see, even feel a ghost. We'll give you the evidence and let you decide. Our ghost hunt started in the dark, where we're told electromagnetic fields and thus spirits are strongest.
I'm telling you, there was something moving around the stairs.
Remember the deadly lovers' quarrel that supposedly took place here at Carter's Tavern? Our VIPs, or Virginia Investigation of Paranormal Science, wanted to know more. And when they felt like they had encountered a spirit, they started asking questions.
We'll ask who shot you. And in this section right here, we got the EVP saying it won't Jack.
Can you play it again?
Yes.
Was there anyone near? For him at the time? Or
No,
anything
he
like
was the only one upstairs.
that? The exchange continued during the investigation.
Why did Jack shoot you?
Here's what it sounded like when we played back the audio and boosted the volume.
And right here is an answer.
Who shot?
We got two names. The last name sounds like Betty, but we can't figure out what the first name is despite all our efforts.
We also took a look at my attempt to communicate with the spirit. Again, here's what it looked like that night.
You want us to
And here's what we heard on the playback.
Now, right here, you hear the word stay. It's very faint, but if you listen closely, you can hear it.
During the investigation, I also invited whoever may be out there to talk to us.
Will you talk to us?
Here's what we found on the audio recording.
Will you talk to us?
And right here, it's saying no. Now, if you highlight all of this, right here, it's very hard to understand. And I don't really know what it's saying, but it sounds like it's saying, are you deaf?
We also had picture evidence to examine.
If you look right here, you see a face. Outline on the wall.
Could that be a shadow of anything else, or is that?
It could be, but there was nothing in the room that would make that type of shadow.
Is it common to see faces like this when you go back and look at film?
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Plus, we found unexplained lines in the sky above those graves.
There was no light in the sky at the time we took the pictures. Most people just describe that as collections of energy.
The homeowners at Carter's Tavern say they don't really believe in the existence of ghosts. They chalk it all up to living in an older home right near the woods. But we do want to know what you think. So log on to our website, WSET.com, and tell us if you think it's the real deal or a whole bunch of baloney. Len, Maureen, what do you think?
I don't know, I'd like to think it's real. I think it's fun.
You know, I think no matter what the real answer is, it would be fun to go out and try the same things that they found.
It sure would.
They claim they have them on tape.
Yeah.
Speaking. Well, this is one of those days where the weather... Man.
When the sun goes down, do you ever wonder about the strange noises you hear? Maybe wonder if that shadow in the corner of your eye is something supernatural. In Southern Virginia, VIPS, or Virginia Investigation of Paranormal Science, will tell you who or what may exist in your home. We sent our Sarah Bloom to a historic Pennsylvania County home with reports of hauntings to see how it all works.
We have heard, it sounds like people are talking.
and nobody's there. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people just sort of having a conversation.
Sonia Ingram says the sound is so distinct, sometimes her family will go outside to see who's there and find no one. Others who have rented the home claim to have seen a light switch go up and down.
They were very specific about, they heard what they thought was a child crying or talking or something like that. And then they also reportedly saw a ghost cat, like an apparition of a cat that they would see on the stairway.
Enter Viv, ready to study what spirits might do or say.
A cold breeze that goes by you, a smell that isn't in the home, smell of flowers, things along these lines. And then you can also have a touch that you normally wouldn't get all the way up to a push, a shove, hair pulling.
But most often these spirit communicators say it's just a conversation. Here's what happened when we went back to the audio recording of that evening.
Also have a ball on the floor. Somebody would want to either touch the ball roll. You can do that too.
Now, right here, you hear a voice that says, ball roll. I'm going to take that to a new screen for you. Right here it's saying, roll.
We kept talking that night with some success on our yes no meter.
You don't want to talk, that's fine. But just give us a signal that you're here. Is there more than one of you?
We even ventured out to a pet cemetery in the front yard, hoping that might start up a conversation. But at the end of the experience, we only came away with one other strong audio recording.
Now, right here, it sounds like it's saying help, but very hard to understand.
It's kind of like a loud
Well,
whisper.
actually, I was wrong. It sounds like it's saying get out. Or help. Could be either one.
Those are very different messages.
Yes.
I've never felt threatened or afraid by it or anything like that. You know, I think it's kind of interesting, and you know, if there is some, you know, if there is some paranormal activity in the house, it'd be interesting for me to find out if, you know, who is it.
And while these sessions may not always come with a lot of feedback, for its participants, it's a started conversation, if you believe it anyway. In Pennsylvania County, Sarah Bloom, ABC 13 News.
And if you want to learn more about VIPS or how to get them to come to your home, log on to WSET.com. Very interesting story.
Okay, sorry about the brief pauses. Had a slow internet connection there. We're briefly going to go over the EVPs again to kind of clear up some stuff. Will was the one doing the questioning at this point, so I'm going to turn it over to him. Will?
Okay, hello, okay. Well, with this one, you can hear a breath right there, or growl. What's the next one down there? Sorry. Who shot you? That's something I'd like to know. Got a name? Who shot you? So as you can tell, it was two different recorders. One, it sounded real close to it, and the other one, the last one, sounded a little bit further away. That was my recorder I had in my hand. The other one was on the table across the room, so. And then we went back, when we went back the second time, we got a little more evidence about asking who shot you, and that's this one here, which was on the news broadcast.
Jack? Who's Jack? From the South Top of the Steps.
You see, that adds a lot of validation to the claims and the story of L.B. Taylor's book. And as you hear it, I could hear it because I wear headphones with the recorder. And I heard voice a person at the top of the steps, but I didn't make out all of it until we went back later and listened to it. That says, person at the top of the steps that saw me dancing, which is relevant to the story of the dancing, the ballroom, the newlyweds, they got in a fight, shot, died. So it has a little validation to that claim and to that legend. So. Okay, I guess now we'll go over some of our equipment. Or do y'all have any questions about Carter's Tavern? And of course, we have some of our equipment set up here, so after the presentation, you're welcome to come look at it, ask questions. This is one of the recorders we have. We have 4 of these set up. We typically set these up. We have a DVR camera system. We set these up to collate with those cameras. This is a Conair sound machine. This basically uses it to create a white noise. It's like that you would hear. Typically can make the EVPs clearer. Some said spirits can use that to communicate easier. This is an energy speaker. What this is creates a electromagnetic field. We use it. You can use it with an MP3 player or a digital recorder, and what it does is creates a small magnetic field. The theory behind that is it gives spirits energy to communicate or manifest. Thermal leak detector. We use that. What it does is it sets a base range, and if it goes colder, it turns blue, or if that area gets hotter, it turns red. So it's like an instantaneous temperature change tool we use. This is the Gaussmaster. This is an analog electromagnetic field meter, which we have natural EMF. You get EMF from electronic devices, things like that, too. So basically, we go into a location, we check for a baseline reading, and if we get any fluctuations, and there's no electronic devices around, then we can kind of lean more towards that's like a paranormal experience or spirit nearby. This is the Radio Shack Hack Shack box. Basically, it's a AM/FM radio that's been altered to constantly scan the frequencies. And the theory behind that is that the spirits can speak in the white noise in between the stations. And it just takes a little practice to learn how to differentiate if you get a radio signal coming through or if it's actually a spirit. Because if you ask questions and it gives you a relevant answer back, you can most likely feel that's a spirit. One of our camcorders that we have, we use infrared lights with that, and it gives it that black and white look so you can see in the dark. So this is a K2 meter. It's basically what it's called a yes-no meter. A lot of people call that. The lights will light up. We look at that. If you ask a question or you're a male, if it lights up. If you ask a female, it doesn't light up. Much like you may be speaking to a male spirit. It's Castrell Weather Station. Right now we have 2 of those. They're pretty neat. They will record the air pressure, temperature, humidity, humidity. It's basically a whole weather station right there that we can set to record constantly, like 1 second up to 30 to a minute. And so we get any temperature fluctuations and things. So. This is our DVR system that we were telling you about. It uses 4 infrared cameras, allows you to see in the dark. It's basically a security system that you can buy for your business or home. We use 4 cameras with that. We have a DVR, we have a monitor that we can monitor live what's going on. If we get any lights, motion, anything like that, shadows. This is the Bell Meter K2 hybrid. Basically, it's like that K2 meter that light up with the yes-no meter. It has that built into this unit. This unit will record the electromagnetic field in the digital readout, and it tells you the temperature. And you can run all 3 options at the same time, and it has a built-in flashlight. That yellow thing on top is a thermocoupler that will read the ambient temperature in the air. And this is also a Bell meter. This is called the REM meter. That antenna on it that creates a small magnetic field, electromagnetic field, that if a spirit or comes in contact around that radius of that antenna, those lights will flash and it will make a beeping noise. And again, it records temperature, visual, electromagnetic, and flashlight. Yeah. This one, the motion alarms. When we were at Carter's Tavern, this went off. And the way we had it angled, it was angled up against angled at the wall next to a window where you had supposedly seen a shadow figure. So all of a sudden that went off, and that's what we were talking about, motion alarms going off. It's pretty good. We've had a couple of instances with that. So this is an experimental piece of equipment built by Bill Chappell. It's called the Obelisk X. It has a dictionary word generator built in. It's a phonetic generator. And basically what the theory is that the spirits can manipulate this device and form words. We try to put some relevance to the case that we're studying, any questions we ask, things like that. We were using this in the last investigation, and Max walked into the room, and I said, we tag our audio. That's when somebody walks in a room or makes a noise, we tag that so we don't confuse that with other evidence. But anyway, Max walked into the room, and I said, Max is walking into the room, and this thing said, Max. It's pretty interesting. This right here is another, what they call ITC device. It's basically a radio that scans a frequency like that Hack Shack box. It's built by Gary Galko. This here scans really fast frequencies. It has additional frequencies added in that a standard radio doesn't have. We've got some really good stuff with this too. We're on and I know we went to one we were scanning. You scan only reverse frequency, it scans the radio backwards, and we got a say clear as day warning. That was pretty interesting. Some more of our recorders, Sony recorders. I like the Sony recorders because you can listen to them live, monitoring when I do the one I have. through the headphone jacks, and you can actually amplify the noise, ambient noise around you, and so it makes hearing things easier. The ghost meter, right now we have 3 of those. This is an analog EMF meter that will light up on the red part on the top, and it makes like a chirping noise when the field gets up high enough to the red. Just kind of alerts you that something, maybe a spirit has passed by or something like that. It's some of our Bushnell game cameras. We have a couple of them set up. Basically, they're the same thing that hunters use in the woods. Same thing, same theory that catches pictures at night in the dark. Has the motion sensor on them that we can set, adjust, capture the pictures. We've got a couple of good pictures with these, and have a lot of interest there. Unexplained, like this picture here. Nobody was in the room at the time, and in the pictures before and the pictures after, nothing. It just, something looks like it's manifesting. It doesn't appear to have any legs. It's kind of a human shape, probably about 8 foot tall. We had another person come by and talk to the family, and he said that they had seen that same image at their house, somewhere similar to it. So, and this is when we did the doll's house. Here it looks like a figure coming out, just set back in the corner, and got a human shape to it. So, all right, you want to explain this?
This goes back to the Carter's Tavern, the picture that they showed on the news. The colored line right here. Some people refer to that as a golden rod, meaning it's a collection of energy, and that is right above the grave of the soldier that was killed in the war, that actually lived in the house at one point, and his name was Jesse. And
let me go back to the website.
Who are you?
Was that you? Kim? Hello? Did somebody just breathe? Did somebody just breathe up here? Who was that? I heard a breath. Turn right here at me. Who was that? Was that you taking your last breath before you died? You clearly hear the breath, and then I thought Kim was in the room with me, but she had got up and I didn't see her leave. And so I see her click the flashlight, and I'm like trying to figure out what it was. And then I didn't hear the name until we reviewed the evidence, just in a very deep, raspy voice. And when we heard the name Jesse, it really, again, goes back to the grave site. His grave being there, that he is still present in the house. So. But we never felt like anything was ever harmful or anything there.
How? The same one?
Yeah.